Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Now, today we're taking a close look at Isotone, and I know you out there listening, you're looking to get the most out of this thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And luckily for you, we've got some expert guidance to help us out. We're diving into Dr. Levany Moten's General Instructions for Isotone Exercises.
This document lays out 6, kind of essential rules, not just for using Isotone safely, which is, of course, paramount.
Of course.
But also for, unlocking its full potential.
And I think listeners will be surprised. It's kind of a holistic approach, to exercise, which I always appreciate.
Before we get into the rules, though, quick reminder for anyone who might not be, totally familiar. Isotone, it's a versatile fitness device, uses this really unique kind of dynamic resistance.
Yeah, it adjusts to you, right, as you move.
Yeah, exactly. So you're getting this full range of motion load, and the device itself monitors everything really precisely. I mean, it's patent-pending technology, so we're talking, cutting-edge stuff here.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so rule number 1, and Dr. Moten really emphasizes this, full body engagement.
Right. And this might seem, I don't know, maybe counterintuitive at first. You think, okay, I want to work my biceps. I'm doing bicep curls. That's my bicep exercise. But engaging your entire body, even when you're targeting specific muscle groups, actually ends up being way more effective.
I think a good analogy is like a bridge, right?
That's good.
You need all those support structures, to really distribute the load and make it stable. Your body's the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about isolating one muscle group. It's about creating, stability and activation throughout your whole system. And this leads to better results, prevents imbalances, and you might be surprised it even helps with your posture.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a good point. Even if I'm doing, like we said, bicep curls, if I'm engaging my core, my back, my legs, I'm also indirectly strengthening those muscles. And over time, that's going to lead to better posture overall.
Exactly. So you get this bonus effect that you might not have even been thinking about.
All right. So we're all warmed up. We're thinking about the whole body. Now we're ready to grab Isotone, get into it. Rule number 2, grip adjustment.
At transition points, yeah.
At transition points. And this one's specific, right? We're talking fingers taking the load, fingertips facing each other.
It's a little different. It's going to feel different than, a lot of other exercises. So definitely pay attention to the instructions here.
And why is that grip so important?
Well, again, it goes back to maximizing muscle activation, right? So by positioning your hands this way, particularly at the transition points between, squeezing and expanding the isotone, you're actually subtly engaging the muscles in your forearms and hands as well.
It's like every little detail is designed to kind of bring in these additional muscle groups, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And it's all part of that full range of motion philosophy that Isotone is based on. Making sure that you're working all the muscles that can contribute to the movement.
So even if it feels a little weird at first, listeners, trust the process. Stick with it.
Yeah, it becomes intuitive pretty quickly.
All right. Rule number 3, equal push and pull duration.
Right. Another key principle here, this one's about balance, as you might guess. You want to make sure that you're spending equal time working those opposing muscle groups. So, the push and the pull.
Yeah, it's kind of like those old school seesaws.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Make sure both sides get equal time up in the air.
Yeah, you don't want one side to be, significantly stronger or more developed than the other. It can throw things off.
And I'm guessing this is one of those things that's it sounds easy in theory, but in practice, maybe you get into the workout and you're not paying attention, and all of a sudden...
Favoring one side, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I often recommend, especially when you're first starting out, maybe use a metronome or just count in your head, just something to keep that timing, precise and balanced.
Yeah, good tip. So we're engaging the whole body. We've got our grip right. We're paying attention to balance. Rule number 4 starts to get a little bit more nuanced. Maintaining tension.
In opposing muscles, right. So... this might seem, I don't know, maybe a little confusing at first.
Yeah.
But it's about thinking beyond just the primary movement. So let's say you're doing a bicep curl. You're curling up, right?
Yeah.
You're working that bicep. But you want to also keep the tricep, the opposing muscle, slightly engaged.
So it's not full on contracting the tricep at the same time, but it's
right, it's subtle.
It's keeping a little bit of that tension, a little bit of that resistance.
Exactly. And this might feel, again, it might feel a little counterintuitive. You might think, well, wouldn't that make the exercise harder? But what it actually does is it gives you greater control and stability throughout the entire movement.
And I would imagine that also translates to injury prevention, right?
Absolutely. You're less likely to, overextend or strain anything if you've got that balanced tension throughout your muscles.
Yeah, it's almost like taking the concept of an isometric hold, right? Where you hold a pose, you're engaging those muscles, you're building strength, but applying it like dynamically throughout the entire isotone movement.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it.
Okay. Rule number 5. And this one's kind of an important reminder.
It is.
Immediate massage for discomfort.
Right. So even with the best technique, even if you're following all these rules perfectly, sometimes you're going to experience some discomfort.
Yep.
Maybe a little muscle soreness, a little tightness, maybe even a cramp.
And the key here is
Stop.
listen to your body. Don't push through it.
Absolutely. And the really cool thing about Isotone is that it's actually designed to be used for self-massage as well.
Oh, wow.
So if you're feeling some tightness in a particular muscle, you can actually use the Isotone to target that area. Provide some gentle pressure, some massage, help relieve that tension.
So it's like you're turning a potential like setback or interruption into an opportunity to like care for yourself.
Exactly, yeah. And we actually have some other deep dives on preventing and addressing cramps, which listeners might want to check out. I think you'll find those helpful as well.
Definitely. All those will be linked in the show notes as always. So last but not least, rule number 6.
Warming up with Isotone.
Warming up. We all know it's important, but what's the specific approach here with Isotone?
Well, like any good warm-up, it's about preparing your body for exercise, right? Increasing blood flow, activating those muscles. But with Isotone, you can actually use the device itself to do this really effectively. So you're going to start with some very low resistance exercises, just gentle movements, really focusing on, kind of waking up those muscles.
Waking them up, yeah.
And you should start to feel, that warmth, that slight increase in heart rate, and kind of a feeling of relaxation as your muscles start to loosen up.
So in a way, you're kind of like priming your body for the more intense workout to come.
Exactly.
And using Isotone itself to do that.
Exactly. It's all part of that integrated, approach.
All right. So 6 rules: full body engagement, grip adjustment, equal push and pull, maintaining tension, massage for discomfort, and warming up with Isotone.
And again, these might seem like, kind of simple instructions, but they really do represent a whole philosophy of exercise.
Yeah.
It's about being mindful. It's about listening to your body. And it's about, achieving that balance and control.
And as always, listeners, we've got Dr. Namoten's full instructions linked in the show notes. And I definitely recommend checking those out.
Absolutely. And don't forget those resources on cramp prevention that we mentioned.
Yes. Good reminder. All right. Well, until next time, keep diving deeper, everyone.
Happy training.
See you next time.